video on solving a triangle. So in general, you can draw just any right triangle. I just chose to draw it like this, and I'm always labeling C as the 90-degree angle. The other ones are interchangeable. You can call this one B if you want, and this one A if you want. It doesn't really matter, as long as you follow the rest of the system. So here's the system, and this is the same as what we've done before. We know in this case we're given some information. We know that B is 78 degrees. And we know that A, that's little a, that's side A, which is opposite angle A, is 41 units. So there's a couple things we can do right away. We could figure out angle A. And this is advisable to do if you already have another angle other than the 90, because the interior angles all have to add up to 180. So, if you took off the 90 from 180 and the 78, you would know that angle A is 12 degrees. And so that helps. It's an easy thing to get out of the way. Now we have to use some trig. You can either decide to say I want to focus from angle A's perspective, then this would be opposite side, this would be adjacent, and this would be hypotenuse. Or you could go from B and say this perspective, and say that this is opposite, this is adjacent, and this is hypotenuse. So since we started with B, I'll start with B too. Since we have the adjacent side, we could either use tangent to find the opposite side, or cosine adjacent hypotenuse to find the hypotenuse. So I guess I'll find side B just because I want to. And then, so this is opposite and adjacent. I'd have to use tangent. So you'd say tangent of 78 degrees is opposite over adjacent, which is B over 41. And then this is, as we've done before in the previous days, this is, you can cross multiply, and really you're just multiplying 41 times tan 78. And I got 193 about. So this would be 193. I just did that on the calculator. Again, all I did was, tan 78 times 41. Now we have a couple options to figure out the hypotenuse as well. Really, we could use Pythagorean's theorem here, because we have 41 and 193. And so we could do, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So that's a good thing to remember, so maybe I'll do that this time. C is always your hypotenuse. So we would say 41 squared plus 193 squared equals c squared. (193 squared), and I got a big number, 38,930, but that's what c squared is equal to, so you'd square it, and that would give us c. So we have b as 193, and little side c is 197. And that's one. There was a couple different avenues I could have taken. I could have started with angle A and used sine and to find the hypotenuse, or tangent A to find B. But here's another example of solving a triangle. It's a little bit different because we're given two sides first, and we still only have the 90-degree angle. So what we could do is label what we got. This is side A is 11, side B is 21. And we should be thinking right off the bat, not just like the last one, if we had two angles, we could find the third. We did that like right away. In this one, we have two sides. We can't really find either of these angles yet unless we use inverse trig, which was day 9. But we have two sides, so we can figure out the third side. And that's just Pythagorean theorem. The same deal. We'd go 11 squared plus 21 squared equals c squared. And ultimately, you end up with 23.7. Okay, I didn't show a lot of the work there because you can go to the previous video and watch how that works. What is new here, or new as of the previous lesson, is that we have to find an angle. We could use whatever sides we want. So I didn't have to find C first, but I chose to. I could find B right now without using this. From B's perspective, or if I want to do A from A's perspective, it doesn't matter. The sides that I had to begin with was 11 and 21. I could use tangent. So let's say I would go tangent of B. Okay, again, we don't have the angle B, but we have two sides. Is opposite over adjacent is 21 over 11 from B's perspective. And then to solve for an angle, you use the inverse tangent. So this would look like, I'm going to inverse tangent the other side. This is B, tan inverse. This is also sometimes called arctangent instead of tan inverse. So then we have 21 over 11 in there, and that's a calculator move. Make sure you're in degrees. So tan inverse, or arctan, of 21 divided by 11 is 62, say 0.4 degrees. I rounded up. And what makes this okay is there's really nothing left to do. We know that these three angles have to add up to 180. So I could say, 62.4, or really just 90 minus 62.4, because we already know that this is 90. This would then be 27.6. And I can write down here how you can kind of do that. 180 degrees total minus the 90 minus your 62.4 is 27.6 degrees. So we solved the triangle. We have everything there. All right, that was a quick example, but this is what it looks like when you start with two sides instead of an angle and a side.